I used to have an expression. I had a long time ago a company I called discipline like the grease of performance. That was something I was towing in my head. But I feel like trust was the same way. Like you just said,
Yeah.
like trust is almost like an accelerant, the catalyst, or
Hmm.
whatever name you want to give it, because it just makes everything that much. It's kind of how I got introduced to you, right? From Ryan and way
Yeah.
back. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, you got a so and so, and they got a book, and it's like, okay, cool. You kind of go down, you go down it more excitedly versus
Exactly.
if there's no trust, you're sort of skeptical at every stage. Um, I said it in the past, I don't remember, but it's the Google rule where they studied how many platforms, how many touch points, and how many
Mm.
hours a consumer. It's like seven platforms, four
It's
things,
crazy.
and like
Yeah.
80, 40 hours, or I don't remember exactly. I think we look up the Google path the journey. It's just like it's really complex. Like in the 70s and 80s, you just put on a radio show, put on a TV commercial, boom, everyone goes and buys Tide, right? Like it
Yeah.
would just, your sales went up with your marketing spend proportionally. Now it's a lot more intricate. It's a lot more data driven. So to your point, if you study, if you've taken, there's a group called, I think they're Mint something. Anyway, they're CRO specialists, right? But they
Yeah.
essentially focus on like you got to put in the money to find out what works, but you can always find out what works because the benefit we have now is we actually know if it'll work or not. So you just set the strategy up and set things up properly, and I think that's something that people should think about. So
Yeah.
speaking
Yeah,
of
and I agree. And
shapes,
just
right?
one more thing real fast on that is too, is
Yeah,
like it can feel overwhelming. Oh gosh, now I have to be on 7 channels at least if you're listening to this. And I think the beauty of AI is we're able to repurpose stuff so much better than we ever have been before because before AI you would have to think about each channel specifically and write content from scratch. And now, you can record a video and turn it into multiple different forms of written content. So social
yeah,
platform content, email content, blog content. And so I think the beauty of needing or wanting to be on multiple channels is it's become it's a lot easier and a lot more efficient now in the age of AI.
yeah. There's just so much technology.
Yeah.
Um, We'll wrap up in a few short minutes, but I wanted to talk a little bit about, and I love models and shapes. So the hourglass, Mr. Lawson.
Yeah.
So we're going to move to the pyramid now. So the
Okay.
pyramid, your strategy pyramid, where for the audience, I'll paint the picture and Sarah will walk you through it. But obviously, think of a pyramid. Number three is business strategy, and sort of the middle is marketing strategy, and the top is team strategy. Can you kind of walk us through your strategy pyramid and give us the highlights on that?
Of course. So a lot of businesses will hire a marketing company to come in, or they'll hire a full-time marketer or whatever it is. And then the marketing company will create their marketing strategy and then get to work. But to me, that's a massive miss because the marketing strategy needs to be based on the business strategy. Like that should be the foundation of everything. And so when we come in and work with clients, like we are understanding the business goals, objectives, where they're trying to go, mission, vision, value, current revenue, current profit, goals for 1 year and 3 years from now, because you need all of that information to then be able to say, okay, we're at this revenue, we're trying to get to this revenue. This is then what we recommend from a marketing standpoint. But if you don't have that information, you're creating a business strategy and then a marketing strategy and they're in their own areas versus supporting. So that's the bottom of the pyramid, is deeply understanding what the business is trying to accomplish. And then as you said, the middle is the marketing strategy. We've talked about that a lot already. And so it's,
Mhm.
under mapping out the marketing strategy. And then once you do that, the top of the pyramid is the team strategy. And so in the team strategy, we're now thinking of humans plus AI to help elevate the humans. And so
Yeah.
it's essentially, once you've created the marketing strategy, you know what needs to be done from a marketing perspective. You can then say, okay, who do we currently have on our team? Where are our gaps? Where can we bring in AI to assist? And that's the team strategy. And so you really need the three of those pieces working together, but in order to be effective. And so where a lot of people miss is they'll start with like the team strategy, and then they'll try to think through the marketing strategy, and then they'll maybe get to the business. And so it's almost backwards in a lot of cases. And so if you're
Yeah.
feeling like you're confused or you don't have the right people on your team or you don't know what the heck anyone's even doing, then I encourage you to take a step back and really think through, okay, what's the business trying to accomplish? what's the marketing strategy based on that, and then analyzing the who piece, which is the team strategy.
which is the team.
Yeah.
I don't remember who said this. It wasn't me, so I won't take credit, but the height of the pyramid is determined by the width and the depth of the base,
Mhm.
right? And so it's just
Yeah.
simple physics. And so I think when people think about, oh, AI will replace me or any of that sort of stuff, I think AI will replace people who put their head in the sand and ignore it,
Yeah.
versus those, like you said, it's the humans plus AI. And I also think that what this will do is allow businesses to be that much wider, that much deeper, because the technology and the impact that we can make and the ability to be across channels and improve lives across the globe, across channels, has now been made much
Yeah.
more easier. So the way I always like to think about it is why I love the strategy pyramid, because well, business is not going away. And so if
Yeah.
the AI goes in there, I think what it allows us to do is allows us to go wider and deeper on the business strategy, because now, you know, let's say 15 years ago, before Shopify was invented, you wanted to do e-com and you wanted to have a funnel. Like you almost already had to be well funded, or like you had to have a lot of money to do an e-com business, the whole 9 yards. And if you said, oh, let me just go drop ship around the world, it'd be like, this would be a huge undertaking that would cost you tens and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Now you get a
Yeah.
Shopify store for $29. You can get an Oberlo account. Like, okay, it'll cost you maybe a couple grand a month to have a fully functioning system. But the
Yeah.
ability now for someone to reach the entire world has been enabled by technology. And so
Yeah.
when I think about AI, I think it's just going to allow us to help that many more people and improve the standard of living for, people across the planet. Like I think that's the part that we're kind of, I think that we're charting through right now.
Yeah, and I'm very hopeful on this too. And but I feel like it's leveling the playing field for small businesses a little bit to be able to, be able to compete
Mhm.
with the bigger names, because we just have more information to tools and creating video that was like, used to be
Yeah.
really expensive before. You can create video now. We can pull detailed research that we just couldn't afford before to do. And so it's allowing, because small business are our people, that's who we work with, but it's allowing small businesses to be able to elevate and grow and to compete on a higher level. So I see that as a very positive thing in the small business space specifically.
Yeah, I do too. And when we look at sort of like Western GDPs,
Yeah.
the numbers in my head, I don't know if it's accurate or not, but the point being it's more than 50%. I think it's like 56%. So government is part of the GDP, usually 20, 25%. Big corp is 20, 25%. Then sort of traditional small, medium enterprises, sort of Main Street businesses,
Yeah.
represent 50 to 60% of GDP, but they also represent more percentage of jobs, right? And
Mm.
so when people think, oh, it's going to destroy all sorts of stuff, like most small business owners don't make a ton of money.
Yeah.
Like there's, they're not, people think, oh, they have a restaurant or a business, they must be raking in the dough. The
Yeah.
reality is not that. And so I think the ability for these, men and women to actually have dreams where they can have a little more financial health and wealth,
Yeah.
but also to be able to maintain those jobs and to have greater impact. So I'm personally optimistic and bullish on AI and technology, because I think to your point, it democratizes sort of the intelligence, the data intelligence, and all those sorts of things for all players. And it's really human
Yep.
ingenuity that will allow those ones to win in the long run, to better serve those customers for the problem that they solve. Right? Like
Yep.
I'm not gonna develop a laundry detergent, so I'm gonna leave that to Tide and to Purex and these other companies to do that. But if it comes to services, there might be things that people like you or I would be able to wedge ourselves in with products and services. So
Yeah.
I'm super excited about the future.
Yeah, me too. Who knows where it's going to take us, but we got to stay positive.
Absolutely. If we don't, then it'll go the other way. And I think it's
Exactly.
great conversation like this to kind of keep it forward and how to use it, not be afraid of it. And like you
Yep.
said, I think how we go from chaos to clarity is kind of what you talked about in your book. You start with strategy, start with systems,
Yeah.
the hourglass, and you go from confused, untrained people to now having systems that are powered, AI powered people that now are better serving the customer target that they were serving, let's say, a year
Yeah.
ago, right? So
Yep.
cool. Thank you for your time. That was amazing. Do you have any closing thoughts?
No, I would just say if you're listening to this and you're feeling overwhelmed, you're not alone. I've been in the marketing space for a while and I've never come across more people feeling overwhelmed as they have over the last year, for a number of different reasons. And so you're not alone, first of all, but also, second of all, put into action even small steps, what we talked about today. So take a step back, map out your business strategy, map out your marketing strategy, think about your team, and that will give you more clarity and confidence and hopefully more of an impact moving forward as well.
Thank you very much. And for those of you that are listening, I'll put in the show notes for North America where to buy the book. When you buy the book, you will also get 48 resources. Then even if you just did one chapter a week, followed one, it's 4 prompt per chapter, like in 48 weeks from now, you will be completely transformed. And so to your point, small actions, like you
Yeah.
don't have to do this weekend. You could if you wanted to, but that might lead to more overwhelm. So just take slow, steady steps. The frameworks are there. They're time tested. They're proven. And thank you for sharing, your book with the world. Thank you for sharing your time with us and helping us break free from broken marketing models. So this is much
Thank you.
appreciated. Thank you and
Thank
have a
you.
great day.